Hey there, have you ever found yourself thinking like, man, I wish I had known better, or I wish I had known this before I started business? Well, on this channel, we are going to be discussing today business regrets. Business regrets that if you're not in business yet, you can possibly prevent yourself. So let's tap in. Hi, my name is Yolanda. I am a virtual bookkeeper, and on this channel, we discuss business lifestyle, things about bookkeeping, and just, a little general stuff about myself. But today we are going to talk about business regrets, and I'm going to emphasize on business regrets that I've incurred since I've been in business. Um, I started my business during the pandemic as a virtual assistant, and I recently transitioned my services to bookkeeping services only. And in the midst of that process, there are some things that I really wish that I had have known or done differently. And so I just want to share that with you because this may be your story, or then again, it may not be your story yet. So, if you see me looking down, I do have some notes. But if you are interested in, conversations about business, make sure you like and subscribe so that you can be able to be notified when I upload videos. My goal is to get more consistent with doing this every week. But between work and clients and personal life, it's a struggle. But I'm here for I'm here for it. I'm here for the challenge. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is not researching. I wish I had did a little bit more research about um, the bookkeeping community, how much it would cost for coaching. I currently do the bookkeeping in my business, and I did the bookkeeping in my business when I was a virtual assistant. And although I do have an accounting background, I have an associate's degree in accounting and business management, but I did not start practicing bookkeeping until I started my business. So, understanding that concept and just trying to get an idea of how to market myself and things that I need to discuss, that was a struggle. I'm a work in progress, okay? It's a work in progress. But I'm sticking to what I know. I'm sticking to what I'm familiar with. And, as I grow, my business grow, I will share that information. But I wish I had just done a little more research about, how much it will cost for coaching, because when you're getting into something that you're not completely versed in, or you haven't done it in a while, it's best to have a mentor that can guide you along the way, and it'll save you a lot of time and heartache of trying to get some stuff done for your clients. Okay. Since then, I have come across some communities that I can reach out to if I have any questions or concerns, and even a mentor within the process. When you go in business, you just need a mentor, period. But you need somebody that is either active or that has already done what you're trying to do. So just keep that in mind. You will definitely need to, get you a mentor. So I would highly recommend to research what would it cost to have a mentor for whatever type of business you're looking to start. Looking to just do general research so you can kind of know where you need to start and prepare for that type of cost. Okay. The second thing I wish I had known or just done better with is not undervaluing my work. So what I mean by that is underpricing. Now here is it's like a catch 22. You know, sometimes you may feel like, okay, I do need to lower my prices so that I could possibly get that one particular client, or so that I can get a client. Been there and done that. Here's the thing that I learned. Um, you may be setting yourself up for failure when you're doing it, because if a client is always looking for a discount, that does, depending on the type of business that you have and what your goal is, because everybody's goal is different. Like, my goal is to turn my bookkeeping business that I do on the side, because this is something I do on the side, I would like that to become my main source of income. But I do know that in order to do that, I cannot and I will not be able to sustain if I'm dealing with a client that's always concerned about the price. Pricing is a concern, And as a business owner, I totally get it because I'm on both sides of the spectrum. You do want to be cautious of the price, but you have to understand the value that's being provided. And as you progress in your business, you will learn the value of bookkeeping. A person that truly doesn't understand the value is a person that has not grown or has not reached the level to value it yet. And it just depends on you if you want to stick it out for them to actually see it and value your work. But I have done that before. And I did it for my virtual assistant business. And I don't regret it because I learned a lot about myself. I learned about the type of systems that I needed to put in place that I was able to carry over into my current business, my bookkeeping business. So it was a good experience. When it comes to my bookkeeping, do I offer discounts? Yes, because of my target. My target audience is entrepreneurs that has been in business less than 5 years. Those are the people that I'm targeting because most times they're not familiar with the value of bookkeeping other than tax time. They don't realize how bookkeeping can actually help them stay in business as long as it's current and it's accurate, because they can do different things with that data, like tax plan throughout the year, which can actually lower their, liability, or they can actually be able to apply for a loan. But they got to have the data on paper to show that. So it's a lot of different things that you can do with your bookkeeping data that you learn in the early stages of your business. And I'm just passionate about being able to educate and share that information. There are a lot of good, dope businesses out there, but on the back end, they could use some help. I'm gonna just say that in the nicest way. They could use some help, and I am happy to help for those that are really ready to delegate. Ready to delegate. Okay. Um, but value your work. Don't undervalue your work, because you could be setting yourself up for an ongoing pain. And if you have to let go clients, I mean, that's business. This is nothing personal. This is business. And if you want to build a business, you have to make certain decisions to sustain. Okay. So that means not always offering discounts, or if you want to offer discounts, do it like for a limited time. Like I had one client, excuse me, I had one client where I did discount his services, but I also made him aware, hey, this is only for a limited time. It's for a one time only. Okay. So that means if he decides to renew an agreement with me, there won't be a discount. So those are the type of things that I'm talking about. Don't continue to undervalue yourself. I know what I'm capable of and what I bring to the table and how I can help people in their business, but it takes the client to be able to actually see that value as well. And that's a mindset shift, that you may not always be able um to do with a potential client. They just have to be in a position where they understand bookkeeping is important and they don't have time to do it, so that's why they're going to pay you to do it, or vice versa, whatever your kind of business you have. So the third thing is, trying to be everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, I mean like every social media platform. So when I started my business, of course, I did it during the pandemic, like at the height of the pandemic. And that was a really good time to start a business. However, I was not really well versed with social media like that. Like at that time, I knew how to log on. I knew, the potential scroll, how to follow. But as far as like putting myself out there and talking about myself, my business, I hated it. I struggle with it. And I just had to have a moment with myself, like, okay, if you're going to say this is a okay, I'm sorry, but as I was saying, I had come to an understanding that if I was going to be online, I had to, uh, get over the imperfections. Um, just put myself out there online. That's something that I just didn't do. I was kind of like the person that just on on the back end, just looking, not actually want to be looked at. You get what I'm saying? And then, trying to figure out the platform. At the time, I was still trying to figure out who my client was and where my client would be. And so at the time, I had chose coaches and consultants. And I just decided not to do that because at the time they were advertising things that kind of hurted my business because they were using assistants that are in other countries that actually offer cheaper prices for their services. And so it was like harder for me to be able to market I found it harder for me to market myself, which is why I made the transition to bookkeeping, because I was like, okay, well, I got the educational background, so I can definitely make that switch. But I had to figure out how to market myself, but where to market myself. And I was trying to be on TikTok. I was trying to be on Instagram. I was trying to be on Facebook. And I got burnt out. I got burnt out, and I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna do what works for me, because at the time the message was, if you're not everywhere, you're nowhere. And that was the worst advice. From what I'm seeing now, it's like what I started out doing, I should have just stuck with it, and that was just being more authentic of myself and stuff, instead of trying to appear like I'm more polished than what I really was. But I figured, if I didn't, I wouldn't attract the type of client that I'm looking for. So it's definitely something that you learn during the process of business. As time get better, you get better, and you have a better understanding where you should be marketing and who you want to market to. Okay. The fourth thing is DIY too long, doing it yourself. Starting business as a solopreneur, like, it sounds cute. It's like, I'm an entrepreneur, but it requires a lot. Like, even for myself, I'm a solopreneur, so I'm wearing all the hats right now. All the hats. I am the social media manager. I am the bookkeeper. I am the marketing strategist. I am the video editor. I am many things in my business, and that's not sexy, okay? However, it does teach you some things. So when you get ready to outsource, you kind of have an idea of what you like and how you like things. So I'm in that phase to where I'm ready to outsource, but I'm still figuring out what I like and how I want things to be, because I will be rebranding either this year or next year. But I will definitely be rebranding for many reasons, and I'll discuss that in a whole nother video. So DIY too long is a recipe for burnout. It is a quick recipe for burnout. So I caution you with, yes, it does help you save money, but it will cause you to burn out quick. Okay, so just be careful with that. If you decide that's gonna be the route you want to take. But for me, I'm preparing myself to outsource. Like, the video editing and the social media content is something that I do plan on outsourcing. I want to focus more on, bookkeeping, accounting more so, and taxes, because I'm looking to offer tax services. But I can't focus on what I need to focus on if I'm doing all the things. You get what I'm saying? So the fifth thing is, I regret not finding a community sooner. So I have found a bookkeeping community that, I can ask questions or, network with, but I regret not actually, finding a community much sooner. I came across some things that I struggle with, and, I pride myself on learning how to do things and figure things out. And when I couldn't figure something out, like, it really bothered me. And so eventually I did find a community where I can ask questions and stuff, because bookkeeping is not a one-off solution for every business. You're going to come across some things that you just don't know, and you're going to have to figure it out. Okay. So the last thing is being okay with imperfections, and I'm still a work in progress with this. One thing that I do regret about the imperfections is just not caring about how it looked. But personally, I do care. Not just because it's business. That's just my personality. I like things to look a certain way. I like structure. I like organization, and that plays a part in how I like certain things to look. Even in my home, I like certain things to look a certain kind of way. So that kind of just spills over into business. But when I started, I wanted people to take me serious, and I wanted people to know that I was serious about business because I looked serious. You get what I'm saying? And so I did, I won't say it slowed me down, but it's been something that I'm still working on. I still want things to look a certain way. It don't have to be perfect, but my goal is simple because I'm targeting people that have no idea about bookkeeping that wants to trust someone that can teach them. And I'm just trying to keep things as simple. So when I put content out, I want to make sure it looks simple, it's comprehended as simple, and it's like, okay, I get it. So that's the thing that I'm trying to make sure I convey in my tone and in my messaging. Just, keeping it simple, not so much as perfection. But and then the last thing I want to touch on is being okay with delays. Sometimes you can set a deadline and you be like, man, I wish I had done XYZ, but sometimes things are gonna happen unexpectedly that you have no control over. And because of that, it's okay. You're human. Nothing is gonna be perfect, and your client is not looking for perfection either. They just want to make sure that you know what you're doing and you're getting the job done. That's what matters most. And so for me, I had to work on putting better systems in place because I do plan on growing my business, and as I gain more customers, I need to have system in place so when I hire someone, my business still can function and not just function in chaos. So that's something that you learn along the way. But I want to share this with anyone that's a new entrepreneur that's thinking about getting into business. These are just a few regrets that I've had since being in business. I wish I had known or could have just done better, but everything is a work in progress. I hope this helps someone, or help you rather. And if this is the type of content that you enjoy, please make sure you like and subscribe as I asked earlier. And I will see you on the next video. And you be blessed.